Hello everyone, my name is Noor and I am a tutor at I Achieve Learning Academy. Today I'll be presenting you all with 5 different strategies that parents can use to help their struggling readers at home. The first strategy I have for you all is to read to your kids. Now if a parent or a caregiver can't read or can't necessarily read English, there are alternatives such as using audiobooks. However, for those who can read, reading a book or a story to your child is a really great, easy way to advance their literacy skills. Reading to kids exposes them to richer vocabulary than they usually hear from the adults around them, and it can really help have positive impacts on their language, intelligence, and later literacy skills as well. Now, you may be wondering, well, what types of books or material should I be reading to my child? And there is a wide variety of wonderful children's books available. So I highly suggest that you either visit your local library or your local bookstore and take a look around there. You could also find recommendations from kids at the Children's Book Council website online. Strategy number 2 that I have for parents is to have your child tell you a story on their own. So one great way to really introduce kids to literacy is to take their dictation. Have them recount an experience or make up a story on their own. Now, the stories that they're telling you aren't going to be advanced by any means. A first story may sound something like, I like fish, I love my mom, I love my grandma. And so, as they're telling you the story, write them as they're being told and then read them aloud to your child. Point at the words as you say them, or point at the words as your child starts reading them. Over time, with lots of rereading by you and by your child should start to recognize different words such as I like or love. And as they start learning some of these words, it may be beneficial for you to write these words on flashcards or note cards for your child and keeping them in a word bank for your child to keep practicing later on. Suggestion number 3 that I have for parents is to teach your children phonemic awareness. Young children don't always hear the sounds within words, so they may hear dog, but they don't hear the d, g. So there's 3 different sounds within that word that they don't necessarily always hear. And to become readers, children have to learn these different sounds. Now, to do this, you could play language games with your child. So, for instance, say a word, maybe even his or her name, and then change it just by one sound. So, for instance, if your child's name is Jenna, you can say Jen Pen, Jen Hen, Jen Men, and that way they can really grasp the concept that different sounds within a word or within a name change that entire word itself. Or you could even break a word apart. So chair, for instance, breaking it apart would be chair, air. Or you can continue it by saying air, by really exaggerating the sounds within that word itself and have your child repeat that. Suggestion number 4 is to promote writing. So literacy involves reading and writing. Having books and magazines available for your child at home is definitely important, but it's also helpful to include markers and crayons, pencils, and paper. That way you could really help encourage your child to write. One way to help encourage your child to write is by you writing to them. You could write notes to them, letters to them, and eventually they'll be motivated to write back to you. And finally, the last suggestion I have for you parents is to ask your child questions. So as your child begins to read, get them to retell the story or the information within the text. So if it is a story that they were reading, ask who the story was about and what did it entail. If it's an informational text such as an article, have your child explain what it was about and how it worked, what was involved, etc. Reading involves not just sounding out the words, but really thinking about what is in the text and remembering ideas and events. And with that, I've come to the end of the strategies I have to provide for parents to help their struggling readers. I really hope that this was helpful, and thank you for your time.